Hey, I'm Andrea Palotto. I am a Feldenkrais practitioner and teacher. I usually do a free lesson for an introduction to my series. This time around, I taught the lesson Pelvic Clock. It's such an interesting lesson, and you follow this beautiful clock on your back that gently just goes around. You explore each number really gently, and by the end, you feel so tall, so great, so free. And these whole lessons, these awareness through movement lessons, they are based on trying to find awareness, which leads to having all kinds of great things like feeling taller, feeling less pain, more comfort, and all kinds of things. So enjoy this lesson, and if you want, check out my other lessons as well, or come to a free class. You can check me out at andreapalotto.ca. Thanks. There we go. Okay, so this lesson is going to be mostly on the floor. So if you have a mat to lie on, go ahead and grab that. And if you're not comfortable on the floor, you could do it in sitting. Um, or you could, yeah, you could sit on a chair and do it if you want. But it's really good on the floor because you get to feel yourself really well. So before I start, I'm gonna introduce my series. So this is a free lesson that I'm doing to promote my series, which is starting next week at the same time at 1 p.m. And it's about feeling taller, and you'll see that by the end of this lesson that you will feel really tall, and it'll be really nice. So how about we start in standing? And if you want to open up your camera, you can do that. Nobody really looks at the camera except for me. So I really just instruct. Yeah, okay, great. So don't look at your camera throughout the whole lesson. Just so that you know, this work is not about feeling, looking at the outside, it's about feeling inside. So if you want, you can turn your screen to be dark so you won't see yourself, or you can keep your eyes closed. The temptation is pretty hard though. So we're going to start in standing. So you can come up to standing, or you can face away from your screen while you're in standing so you don't look at yourself. Yeah, so in standing now, simply let your hands hang down, let your arms hang down beside you, and just notice how you're standing. Take a picture of how tall you are. Can you feel your spine that's connected to your head and that's connected to your legs? Do you feel that there is a foot or a leg that is holding you more? Excuse me. That you feel a leg or a foot that you're leaning more on, like there's one that is just holding you up a little bit more, or a foot that is feeling a little bit more on the ground, feeling a little bit more contact on the ground. And just simply walk around, take a couple of steps, just like you're just neutrally, you just want to see, you just want to notice, and we're going to have something to compare with at the end. So just simply walk around. And then when you're done walking around, come lay on your mat, on your back. And now that so there's some people that I can't see, some that I can. If you want to actually take a look at your camera and maybe turn it so that I can see you, I can give you better directions. If you don't want to do that, that's totally fine. It's your choice. The more I see you, the more I can really teach the lesson to you. There we go. That's nice. Okay, so now that we're on the floor, take a little moment to notice what's contacting the floor. You can take a second to see how long and tall you are. What's your length from your feet all the way to your head? What's your width from shoulder to shoulder? And if you were to start with your head, what part of your head, the back of your head, is touching the floor? Is there like a point? Is there like a dot? Or is there like a bigger space? How big is it? What's the space of the contact with your head on the back of your head on the floor? And from there, what is the path that that contact makes to the next contact? So for instance, your neck or your chest. Can you draw a line, a path of the contact with the floor? And on that path, do you have an awareness of your shoulder blades? If you go a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left, do you feel your shoulder blades on the floor? Is there one that's making a little bit more contact than the other? Is there one shoulder blade that you feel a little bit more on the floor? And then if you were to continue down your spine, and eventually we would do all those little vertebrae that you have, and then we get to your pelvis, and your pelvis, how wide is it? From side to side, from the left to the right? And is there one side in particular that is feeling more grounded on the floor? There's a little bit more contact. What is the physical contact that you have on the floor? And what's the difference from side to side? Everyone has their own unique, everyone has their own unique sensation. And every part of yourself has a different sensation and a different thing that you can feel. And it's part of this work is addressing that. And is finding that and being curious about it. And so now continue on down your pelvis. You can take whichever leg comes into your mind first and feel the length of your leg. Notice all the little places that your leg touches the floor. Your thigh, your knee. Does it come up a little bit? Where does it come back down? Your lower leg, your ankle, your heel, and then the other leg. Excuse me, I'm a little bit sneezy today. So if you're finished doing your leg, you can just relax, and I'm just going to talk a little bit more about this work so that you know what you're gonna be doing. So the point of this work is to do these micro movements, really, really, really small. Really, really, really small movements on the floor on your back. And I'm going to just give you some pointers, some going this way, going that way. And the point is to really find the smallest, slowest way you can move. And to just examine that without giving it an identity, without giving it a, this is always like this, but just want to see with your curiosity. So you, on the floor, laying down really calmly, simply bring up your legs to standing so that your knees are bent. You're staying on the floor, but your knees are bent and your feet are standing. And have them in a way where, you know, they're just really easy. In a way that you can still breathe. You're not holding them up too hard. You're just having them really relaxed. And if you want to try in different positions, maybe with your knees together, maybe with your knees apart, with your feet under your knees, with your feet to the left of your knees, you can try throughout this whole class different positions and what makes finding the best and easiest way to do this. So really, really, really gently, simply tilt your pelvis so that your hip joints, they raise, and your pelvis, the top of your pelvis comes a little bit more towards your face. So it's just tilting. So the lower back goes a little bit more to the floor, and then you just let that go and come back to neutral. And you're doing that. You can try sometimes to do that with your feet, so that you push your feet a little bit on the floor and that tilts your pelvis a little bit. See if that helps. And from here on, I really encourage you to do your own little explorations in every little movement exploration that I ask you to do. You can feel and you can try your own little things. And the more you do this work, the more you are able to just do whatever you want and stop listening to the teacher for a minute. And I really encourage that. I also encourage to take breaks whenever you need. So imagine, with this movement, you discovered a little bit more of the lower back. So imagine that you had a friend that you really like who started painting a clock on your pelvis, kind of on your butt. Doesn't have to be too big, a pretty small clock that we just want the numbers and the circle. And the number 12 would be where your lower back is. And the number 6 would be on your tailbone. So the movement that I just asked to do was bringing your back to your to the number 12. And now try bringing it to number 6. And what that would be raising your pelvis away, raising your back, the lower of your back away from the floor so that your pelvis tilts towards your knees, for example. And it can tilt in any way, but you kind of want to explore what parts of you are tilting more or less. And just do that just once, not fast. Do it really, really slowly. Do it so slowly that maybe I, looking at you right now, won't even see that you're doing it. So this clock, let's continue building it. So you have the painted clock on your pelvis. And so to the right would be number 3. And that would be right around your hip joint. And the number 9 would be on the left, so right around your left hip joint. So you have the clock. For some people, it's perfectly round. For some people, it's not. It depends on the contact of the floor. So now let's just gently explore going to 12 o'clock. So bringing your pelvis into the direction of your head and a little bit your lower back down to the floor. And then right away to 6 o'clock, really gently, just in one little movement from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock. And then back to 12. Just doing this like really, really small, kind of like gyration, but really small and really, really slowly. You can use your feet to help with the floor if you can't seem to feel the tilting of your pelvis. But the goal really is to find a way to have the bigger muscles, which is the pelvis, you doing the movement entirely. So it's the abdominal muscles and the pelvis muscles that are helping that tilting happen. So just gently tilting from 12 o'clock and to 6 o'clock. And then bring your legs down and take a little break. So your legs are on the floor. And in this break, you just want to notice. You just want to notice your contact with the floor so far, if anything has changed. For instance, do you feel maybe there's a little bit more presence in your lower back? Maybe a little bit longer in your legs? And when you're ready, bring your legs back up to standing. And again, just gently tilt once to 12 o'clock and then to 6 o'clock. Notice if the direction that you're going into, notice if there's one side that moves a little bit more, one side moves a little less. And again, you can change the position of your legs to see if maybe if they're in a different place, maybe they can help you, right? If your legs are wider apart or if your legs are closer together, what is the optimal way for you to really have this feeling of tilting one and the other? Yeah, I encourage you to try out different things. Do you notice that you're pushing with both legs when you do it, or maybe you're only pushing with one? Can you differentiate between the movement of pushing from your feet and just pushing from your pelvis? Or rather than pushing, it's actually just tilting, right? Do you notice when you're tilting, does your head do anything in particular? When you're tilting from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock, does your head do anything in particular? And you can imagine if your head would move with the movement of your pelvis, how would it move? Would it Would your chin come closer to your chest in a particular point? Can you imagine your head tilting along with your pelvis? And you can bring your legs back down, take a little second. And in this longer position, do you notice anything different about the way that you're contacting the floor? Your lower back particularly, your shoulder blades. And now come back up with your legs. But now just imagine that there's a clock that is kind of painted under your head. And you wanted to, and it's in the same kind of formation as the one in your pelvis. And you want it to go gently again, really, really gently from 12 o'clock, which would be bringing your neck up a little bit, and 6 o'clock, which would be bringing your neck down a little bit towards the floor. But again, really, really small, right? Really, really, really small. Not a big movement. Not a big movement. As we like in this work, we like to go just before the sticky, just before the confusion, just before whatever uncomfort, just before that. And now let that go and start doing it with your pelvis again. Do it with your pelvis. And while you're doing it with your pelvis, can you notice a movement, really small, really, really small, that's happening with your head? If your breathing is really easy and not necessarily tied to the movement of your pelvis, if it's differentiated, if it's separate, so that your breathing and your pelvis movements happening at different times, and your chest is relaxed and really easy, really simple, then you'll be able to feel a little movement happening of your head tilting at the same time that your pelvis tilts. And if you do a bigger movement, you might feel it more. And you can try that. You can do a bigger movement, really tilt your pelvis to 6 o'clock, see where your chin goes, and really tilt your pelvis to 12 o'clock and see where your chin goes. See where your chin goes and where the back of your head contacts the floor, and then go back to small one and see if you can just relax yourself, relax everything. Think about the feeling of the floor beneath your back. Everything needs to be just easy, moving really softly. And do that a couple times again, continuing from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock. And after you've done that a couple times, bring your legs down and take a little rest. And as you're resting on the floor, simply notice the lower back, your lower back, your upper back, your chest, the back of your head. Has something changed with the contact of the floor? And bring your legs back up. Now we're going to explore number 3 a little bit. Well, from 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock. So just gently start to explore where is number 1? Right after 12. A little bit to the right. You want to just gently explore number 1 and then come back to 12. In your mind, where is number 1? And your feeling of the floor, and if you wanted to get number 1 to touch the floor a little bit, where would you go? And then gently come back to 12. And now do that a couple times, going back and forth from 12 to 1 o'clock. And then once you're done that, you can explore 12, 1, and then 2. So you have a clear number each movement. You're making a little bit of it's like an arc, right? You're making 12, and then you point off the number 1, you check mark that, and then you check mark the trajectory from 1 to 2, and then you come back from 2 to 1, and then 12. And then do that a couple times. Just going again, making sure not to skip, but finding the places just before the skip. If there is something that you don't know, confusion, or you're not sure, uncomfort, anything like that, then you want to just stop before that and really refine and create a beautiful, really easy and pleasurable movement. And then when you're done going to 2, you can go to 3. And these repetitive lessons, I tend to confuse which number I'm at. So if we did 3, then you can go to 4. No, I think we were at 3. So go to 3. And then again, you clear, distinct places. Go to 3 a couple times, go to 2, go back to 1, to 12, and then 12, 1, 2, and then 3. And then after you've done that a couple times, go all the way to 4, counting down the numbers. Really exploring all the places that is yourself. And go from 12 to 1 to 2 to 3 and then to 4. Come back to 3, 2, 1, and then 12. And now go all the way to 5. And then come back to 4, to 3, 2, 1, and 12. Explore that trajectory again to 5. Stopping at each one, honoring each place. And then come back to 12. And the next time you go around, go all the way to 6. But do it gently, right? Do it one by one. One by one. And when you're at 6, is this 6 the same 6 that you started with? Is it at the same place? If it's not, then it's not. And you don't have to change that or manipulate yourself in a particular way. You just notice. And then you keep continuing drawing that half circle from 6 all the way back to 12. And as you do it more, as you give yourself the patience and the time and the care to draw that half circle, then at one point things start to make a little bit more sense. And when you've done that enough times, you can come to lay your legs on the floor. When your legs are on the floor, notice your length. In particular, notice your legs, the backs of your legs, your pelvis on the floor, your lower back. Taking account for all of these things gives us our brain and our nervous system juice, really delicious juice. It feeds our nervous system, and that's where the learning happens, and that's where the change happens. And that's when you get up afterwards, you might feel a little different. And so only when you've rested enough, taken a little break, you can bring your legs back up. If you don't, then you can continue in your imagination. It's your choice. In my classes, it's always your choice first. So with your legs back up, start to slowly trace out from 12 to 11. And just really gently explore that place from 12 to 11. Explore the place from 12 to 11. Explore each little point of skin that you have. Explore that and feel that. Feel it on the floor. The floor is such a treasure. Gives us information and gravity as well. Go back and forth really calmly, really slowly from 12 to 11, and then you can explore 10. And then going back, respecting each number, coming from 11 to 12, 12 to 11, to 10, and then back, really gently, really purposefully exploring each little part of it. And then when you've done that a couple times, you can add in your number, the next number, 9. And when you're doing these movements as well, you can notice your breathing. Let your breath just do whatever it wants. You can notice at the same time what you're doing elsewhere in your body. Maybe there's things that you're randomly doing. As you explore these numbers, you can also have like an interior, like as if you're reading a book. You have the numbers, each word, but then there's also the words around. What's going on around, right? That's also what we want to pay attention to in these lessons. What's happening when you're on this exploration of these numbers. When you're ready, you can add the next number, which would be 8. And now we're coming closer to 6. Just be aware of that. Don't fix anything. Come back to the previous number. Coming back all the way around, doing the arc, coming back to 12. And then the next time, you can explore the next number. So 7. Notice what the newness of a number does. When you're adding on a next number, what does that do in terms of what comes up for you? What do you experience? Excitement. You're like, oh, I'm so curious. You're unsure. Just notice those feelings. Don't give them a name. It's like they're waving in a car and then they just continue. And then come back all the way to 12. On your next turn, come to 6. I think we're at 6 again, right? What's the difference from this 6 and the 6 of before and the 6 of beginning? We want to really think about each period in this lesson. What did that look like, and what is that compared to now? And that's where the learning happens. That's that juicy little, it's like the most delicious cookie for your brain. And when you're done, bring your legs down and relax. Take a little break. In this break, take a moment to notice your legs. Do they have a nice jello quality to them? Can you give them a jello quality? Give them a pleasure quality. Do you feel any length, closeness to the floor? You feel a little closer, a little bit more clear. An image that we love to use in Feldenkrais is it's as if there was, ink all over your back and you wanted to make an imprint of your whole body on a piece of paper, so you went to lie on it. What would the imprint look like? What would it have looked like before? And what does it look like now? Maybe there's places that are filled in, places that are darker and deeper in color. And if you're ready, come back up with your knees. And now just do the whole circle, starting from 1, starting from 12 to 1, go all the way to 6, counting each number, right? Counting each number. Counting each number and go go all the way to 6 and then continue through 6 to 7 to 8, counting each number, stopping to say hi, stopping to give it a real place. Respecting each number, and do that rhythmically. Notice your breath. Can your breath be free? It's not tied to the movement. You don't take a breath in with each number and exhale on the transitions, or the opposite. Your breath is just really smooth, really easy, while each number gets to make its little mark on the floor. And notice when you're doing that, does your head come along with the ride? Does your head come left when your pelvis goes left? Don't make it. Don't make it. Don't make it consciously. And just notice if it doesn't. Notice if it does. And if it doesn't, then you just think about making things easier. Think about the line of your whole spine. And now go the opposite direction. So go from 12 and 11. So it's a direction we haven't explored yet. Can you let that exploration be new and be interesting and explore it with curiosity? What is it going to feel like to go in this opposite direction now that I've been going in this one? What does the difference do for you and in yourself? Is it fun and exciting? Can you let your head come along for the ride as if you were just simply even to just imagine? Imagine that your head were to come along with the ride, even if it doesn't. You could just imagine it. And in your head, coming along with your eyes, you can even ask the question, do your eyes come along? And you can even watch your knees. Your eyes can watch your knees doing the circle. Not open necessarily, they can be closed, but they still watch. Think about when you're doing it, think about where your nose is in space. And now do it purposefully, moving your head around in the clock. Do it purposefully. Notice your pelvis coming along. You wanted to explore all the numbers with your head, right? And you wanted to do the whole circle. The whole circle. You don't just stop at a number, right? You do the whole circle. Continue, continue, continue. And then go down, go down. There, yeah. Now, yeah, there you go. Okay, put your legs down, rest a little second. Your back on the floor. Your pelvis on the floor. Your chest. Your ribs. And the back of your head. Where's the back of your head? Where's your neck? How much space are you taking on the floor? And now come back up with your knees. And start to explore, just going from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Again. So just bringing your pelvis from right to left, right? When you're doing that, notice what's starting the movement, right? Is it your knees or is it your pelvis? Notice what's tilting first, your knees or your pelvis. And now let that go for a second. Do the 12 o'clock and the 6 o'clock. See how that's doing. Remember at the beginning we were talking about the difference between doing it with your feet pushing on the floor and doing it with your pelvis. Do you have a better sense of what the difference is between doing those two things? Doing it with your feet, you push your feet on the floor, you push, and your pelvis lifts a bit. But doing it with your pelvis, well, that's different. So your feet don't really push on the floor. To get to the right and the left, do you need to push with your foot or do you just need to tilt your pelvis? Can you just let yourself move without trying to move gravity, without trying to go against gravity? Going with it. And now if you were to stamp the numbers on the floor and that they were to stay there, so you were to go to stamp 12 o'clock on the floor and then stamp 1 o'clock, and they were to stay there, and you stamp each number on the floor. You go the whole way around. And then notice the difference between the numbers on the floor and the numbers that are on you. What's the difference between those numbers? What's the difference between what is on you, what is inside you, and what is part of you, and the difference between what is outside? What is outside of you? And now just really easily, really fun. And you can laugh at the same time. Make yourself laugh. I'm going to tell funny jokes. And you just quickly go from 6 to 12 o'clock. And then do the whole, just 6 and 12. and laugh. What's a funny joke? I can't think of a funny joke, but this in itself is really funny. Just hearing me blabber on about me trying to find a joke. Having easy, really easy quality. I should prepare jokes for this. I'm gonna start preparing jokes. Maybe I'll just laugh and you'll laugh. You know what's funny actually is cats and pets in these videos, since I've been doing them online. Cats have been getting in every single place. One cat I saw was putting its nose in someone's butt. I saw that. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. Just laugh and do the 6 to 9. Laugh and do the 6 to 9. There you go. 6 to 12. 6 to 12. And now the 3 to 9. In your session right now, there was a cat that was being pretty stubborn, playing with somebody's mat, jumping, and how hilarious is that? Really funny. Pets and doing small movement work. 3 to 9, 3 to 9. Let yourself breathe. Think of something funny. A funny story. 3 to 9. And now do the whole circle in one way. Whichever way you choose, do the whole circle. Do it a little bit quicker, but not rushed, right? Not rushed. Do it quicker, but with ease. Can we be quick, but not rushed? Quick, but not stressed out. Busy, but still respectful. The whole circle. And do you forget any numbers? Do you forget any numbers? And just let go of expectation. Let go of trying. Let go of getting it right. Just do it. And have fun. You're a baby. You're all babies. You can say ga 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 at the same time. You're all muted, so unless you have people there, nobody on this will hear you. I won't even hear you. Okay, go the opposite direction if you haven't already. And then when you're done, lay your legs down. You at the beginning and you now. What's the difference? What's the difference? What's coming up? What do you notice? Do you notice of your back? Is it closer to the floor? Your shoulder blades? Your head? Your chin? Is it closer to your chest? I think it is. I see it. Everyone has huge difference. Each and every one of you. Huge, huge difference. Your head's a little bit more on the floor. Your neck is a little closer. And now, really, really gently, don't strain. Don't strain. Be easy. Laugh at the same time. Think about the cats. Think about those funny videos and get up to standing. Don't stress. Don't do it stressfully. Don't do it stressfully. Respect the time. Respect the time. Respect the time. Come up to standing. Don't look at the screen. Come up to standing and compare. Compare you now from you in the beginning. How tall do you feel? Are you standing a little bit more on your legs? Is there one that is standing more? What's the difference between when you checked this in the beginning? Did you notice anything in particular? Maybe now your toes are touching. Maybe now you just have a little bit more stability. And take a couple steps, walk a little bit. What's the difference in walking? Let your head be really easy. When you walk, do you notice your head moving? Gaga, goo, 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 gaga, gaga. Laughing, really easy. The cat face and the butt, hilarious. Yeah. Okay. That is the end of the lesson. I hope you all enjoyed it. This was a free lesson given to promo my series that's coming up on Sunday, the next Sunday, same time, all on this theme. And we will be working a lot again with the pelvis tilting clock 6 to 9, doing some extending and flexing and finding a way to inhabit feeling tall, but also feeling short, right? At the times that we need. Sometimes you need to bend down to sweep the floor, sweep the broom into the dustpan. I always say that in Italian. Sometimes you need to reach up to get a glass, right? So, and if you want, you can also, I'm having a free lesson to begin my next series on the 28th. Yes, on Wednesday, the 28th at 8 p.m. That one's a night class, and so the whole series is $72 for 6 classes. And if you miss a class, it's fine because I will send it to you. And yeah, I also love to end my classes with a little, conversation about things that you realized, big moments for you. If you are shy, you don't have to unmute yourself. You can type it in the chat as well. Or you feel free to, unmute yourself and let me know how you felt about this lesson and how good do you feel, if you do. Or if you want, you can also close that screen and continue on with your life and join my mailing list and tell people about it, because this work is so good. So somebody wrote saying, so good, ... First time I felt my left hip on the ground. That is beautiful. That is really, really great. Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm really glad. This work has done really, really, really incredible things for me. And I really think that everybody needs to practice some kind of somatic work, because the healing you don't need to be on this healing journey anymore. You just learn and you just grow and you give up that sense of need and you let yourself just live. And yeah, thank you so much. Someone said, very interesting to develop this awareness of micro movements. Yeah.
J'ai trouvé que en bas du diaphragme, ça s'allongeait, mais le haut ici, il se contractait.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
C'était comme, j'avais vraiment l'impression d'avoir grandi juste d'un côté.
Yes, that's so interesting. Wow, ouais, vraiment. Yeah. Mais, genre, je peux dire, là, le changement que je vois dans toi, là, dès que tu as commencé mes cours, là, c'est incroyable. Puis juste en ce classe-là, la distance entre ici, c'est genre incroyable. C'est vraiment,
Ouais.
je le crois pas presque.
Ça, je l'ai vu. Ça, je l'ai vu. Effectivement,
Oui,
quand tu as nommé le
oui,
fait
c'est
que
ça. Oui, oui.
ben oui, effectivement, c'était vraiment plus proche.
Puis ça donne plus un awareness de tes épaules, of your shoulder blades.
Ouais.
Because this affects your shoulder blades. Yeah,
Mhm.
incroyable.
Et puis le chat puis le bot, c'était le mien. C'était vraiment.
Poor you. I was trying so hard not to laugh. But there was someone else, my last free session, um, it was on the belly, and the cat was actually in the butt. So that was hilarious. I love this work because I get to see this in all of your houses, and no one else sees it. I feel pretty special. Well, I really encourage you to join my classes, 6 classes for $72. I'm going to promo myself the hell out because that's life. And to join my mailing list, I think I have the link here and you should get a pop up for the mailing list if you're interested to start my classes with me. Let your friends know about it. And I also do one-on-one lessons, and I'm doing them on my balcony right now, so less of a contact risk. And my balcony is on the 3rd floor, so it's pretty inaccessible, but private. So yeah, I guess we'll end the session here. Thank you so much. And if you join my mailing list or follow my Facebook page, you will receive the download the video, and you can download it from there. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for coming. Take care. Bye bye. What do you think of this? Ben là, pourquoi tu mets Snow? Je me sens vraiment grande. Hey. Are you standing a little bit more now?
Huh? What do you think?